Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about are comic book fans racist? Now obviously the short answer is no, but the reason I wanted to make this video is I saw some people commenting on my Comics Explained versus Diversity in Comics videos saying some things, and also there's a Twitter rant that I want to address that I'll get into later. But first let's talk about that video, where in that video I was talking about Comics Explained's tweet where he said that there's this big anti-diversity crowd in comics, and I was simply saying that they don't exist. There's no crowd of people that are just this big anti-diversity racist people. That's not a thing. They don't exist. There are probably individuals who read comics that are racist, but I'd say it's under 1%. Under 1% of the comic book fandom are racist, because the comics don't allow these people to exist, because in comics there's no room for them. There's no room for them in the fandom. Comics have been diverse and progressive for a long time. It's nothing new. One of the most famous images of Captain America is him punching Hitler. So your regular old Nazi is not going to be like, I love me some Marvel comics. Maybe now because they made him a Nazi, but then they're like reversing that because of Secret Empire, but whatever. I'm just saying, if anything, Marvel back in the day wasn't very inviting of these people. And so even now, the more progressive everything's got, they're definitely, these people aren't going to feel welcome in comics because everything is so diverse and progressive. Now, racism and sexism and being a bigot and all that stuff is, you're never going to 100% eliminate it. There's always going to be some weirdos that believe in that and are just indoctrinated into that for whatever reason. You're just never going to be able to get rid of it. But right now we're in a pretty good place to where they are a very small minority of people, these racist bigots. There's not that many people. If you look at Charlottesville, you had people flying from all over to go there, and they had, what, maybe 2,000 people or something like that? They had a very, very tiny number, and they had people flying from all over. They had, like, every neo-Nazi, white nationalist, and Nazi flying in there, and they got, like, hardly anyone. They got, like, 2,000 people with some tiki torches. It's like, that's nothing. That is, like, hardly anyone. And then it's an even smaller amount of those people that actually, like, read comics. Maybe, like, 2 of those people read comics. I highly doubt there were a bunch of those guys that are like, yeah, I love to read comics, woo! I highly doubt that, because, again, comics have been diverse for a very long time, so that's just, they're not welcome here. They're not welcome when they go to the comic shop and they see all these different comics, very diverse and things. Of course, they'd be very mad about that. That's why these people aren't really into comics, generally speaking. Again, I have no doubt that there are some individuals who are racist that read comics, but for the most part, most comic fans are not racist. I would say 99.9% of comic fans are not racist. And that's what I was saying in my video, that there's no group. Someone even on Twitter that I follow, Mopey, he was saying that I was being like short-sighted and sort of ignorant for saying that this group doesn't exist. So he said he would go and Google for an hour. He told me to give him an hour to Google to try to find a group of racist comic fans. Through an hour of Googling, he couldn't find one group. You know how much stuff you can find for Googling something for an hour? You know how much knowledge there is on Google? You can find pretty much anything if you look at Google for an hour. He couldn't find one instance of a group of racist comic fans, of these anti-diversity people that Comics Explained was talking about. Because they don't exist. Again, there are probably individuals, but there's no group. There's no, like, a bunch of them, like, meeting up, like, yeah, we hate those black people in comics, well, we gotta get rid of them. That's just not a thing. Comic fans aren't like that. Most comic fans are not like that at all. They're not these racists that people like to make them out to be. Now moving on to the next thing I want to talk about in this video, which is Mickey Kendall, who I couldn't exactly tell what she does. In her bio, she just says that she, quote, always claps back. And she also had her PayPal linked in her bio, and that's how you know you're dealing with a real winner, when someone's talking about racism, sexism, and all that, and then their PayPal's linked there, because they're just like, yeah, you should give me all this money to continue ranting about this stuff on Twitter. It's great. But I looked at her website, and she's had like 2 comics listed that she helped write. Just a quick edit here. Only one was actually a comic. The other was just a normal book, an old paperback that's called Steam-Powered Lesbian Steampunk Stories. So, yep, you can tell she's just a grade A quality writer. And she seems to just complain about racism in comics, and I think that's like her only thing. Well, not just comics, but like in geek culture in general. That just seems to be her thing, and that's all she does. I couldn't tell anything else she does, really. She's like helped write like 2 comics, and she complains about racism. But yeah, I saw her in my feed, I think because I follow some people that follow her, because she's followed by some comic pros that I follow, so I think that's why she showed up in my feed. But anyways, she went on this big Twitter thread talking about racism at comic conventions and things like that, because someone she was following went on a thread talking about sexual harassment at Comic Cons, and so she was like, not only sexual harassment, but racism. And so she went on the huge thread. I'll have it linked in the description because I only chose a few tweets from it because there's so many tweets. But anyways, she says, my personal safety gets threatened a lot. For the most part, I'm prepared if someone goes after me or a friend, but I'm not at every con. Okay, I've been to a lot of comic conventions, and I've never seen someone attacked over their race or needing a bodyguard, because comic book fans will argue with you till their eyes start bleeding about Superman versus Goku, but they're not going to throw a punch at you because of your race. Generally speaking, from my personal experience, I've been to a lot of comic conventions. Just this year, I've been to Star Wars Celebration and I've been to PAX West. So I've been to 2 conventions this year. I know PAX West is a little different convention because it's a gaming convention, so it's more about waiting in line and things, but it's still a big convention. So I've been to 2 big conventions just this year. And I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen anything like that happen. No one's been attacked for the race. Again, comic book fans will argue with you about a lot of different things, but generally speaking, they're not going to be like, that's a black person, screw them, I want to go punch them. Like, that just doesn't happen. Comic book fans aren't like that. I've never seen that happen in all the conventions I've been to. That has never happened. I'm not denying that maybe it's happened sometime, but I don't think it's a regular thing. She says, my personal safety gets threatened a lot. What are you doing? Like, what's causing people to come up after you? I don't know. She doesn't provide any proof, but that's her own personal experience. Maybe she's telling the truth. Who knows? And she says, people who will decide that grouping up to be overtly racist at black and non-black people of color cosplayers is their idea of a good time. Again, I've been to a lot of conventions. Not once have I seen a group of, like, neo-Nazis going around picking on black cosplayers. I've never seen that. Most people are asking to get their picture taken with cosplayers, or like, that looks cool, and complimenting them, or just not saying anything. That's just generally how it is. Because a lot of nerds are shy in the first place, so they're not going to be doing anything like that. And I've never seen some, like, group of racists go around a con, like, just harassing black cosplayers. And not just people of color in general. I've never seen that. Like, what cons is this lady going to? Again, there probably are cons where this has happened, but she's acting like it happens all the time. I'm not denying that maybe it's happened a few times, but overall, for the most part, I don't think this happens very much. From the tons of cons I've been to, I've never seen this happen. Again, not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't think it's the majority. I think it's the minority. I think this hardly ever happens. I've never seen a group of racist people going around the con and be like, ha, look at them, look at that black person cosplaying. How dare they? I've never seen that. Just, I don't know. This lady apparently just sees racism all the time. And then she also says, you'll have to do some cleaning out of staff who make racist jokes and think it is no big deal, as well as those who think groping is okay. Okay, first off, I don't know anyone that thinks groping is okay. Who, like, what? No. Again, comic book fans are generally very shy and things and have trouble talking to a girl. Nevertheless, going up and, like, grabbing her butt or something like that. No, they're not gonna go and just grope people. But yeah, you probably do have some, like, people doing security that are, like, weird and will grope someone. But most people know groping is no and not okay. But racist jokes, okay. I don't think you should be making racist jokes on the job because you're trying to maintain that you're professional. Like, if you're on the job making racist jokes, of course, that's just like, no, don't do that. But if someone made a racist joke on Twitter and you're like, oh, we should fire them, no. If someone made a racist joke in their free time or on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever, then no. If it's just a joke, then no, there's no reason to fire them. But again, if someone's doing it on the job, it's like, yeah, you're supposed to be professional. You're not supposed to be making racist jokes right now. You're supposed to be working and doing your job. So that I understand. But making, like, if someone just made a racist joke on Twitter, and jokes are nothing, that's kind of the point, they're just joke, like Dave Chappelle's white guy, like, that bit is hilarious, it's a funny joke, but if you take it seriously, it's incredibly racist, but no one takes it seriously because it's a joke, so it means nothing, no one cares, that bit is hilarious. But this lady is just like, I'm gonna make a racist joke and act like it's nothing. It's a joke. That's the point. The point of a joke is that it doesn't mean anything. It's just supposed to be funny. Like, God, this lady seems to get triggered a lot. But again, If you're making a joke on the job, I understand that being like, yeah, you're fired. You shouldn't be making racist jokes when you're supposed to be working. But if someone made a racist joke on Twitter and you're like doing a manhunt for them and like, you should be fired out of this, you shouldn't be working for these people, then yeah, that's stupid. And something else she says is con culture around gender has always been a problem. Guess what else has always been a problem? Racism in spec and comics and so on. How is, I mean, maybe like I'm back in the day, but talking about modern day, how has racism been a problem? Like, what's been where's the racism? Can you point to it? Like, racism in comics, what's been racist in comics recently? She says always. That means from the beginning till now. I'll give you that back in the day, yeah, there was some racist stuff. There were some racist comics, there's some stereotypes, things like that. But now that's just not really a thing anymore. Like, you'll get fired if you do anything racist like that. For generally speaking, now I'd say like in the past 10 years at least, if not longer, there hasn't really been much racist things at all in comics, in the big two at least. Just it's not a popular thing to do. That's one thing that I think is funny, that people like to act like racism is running rampant. Racism is something that will always exist. It just will. Racism, sexism, bigots, they'll always exist. They'll always be out there. You can't eliminate it. We've gotten pretty dang close to eliminating it, but you'll never will, because it's just the way it works. You can't eliminate it. But we're getting very close to where those people that are these racists are very small minority of people, because in society and in our culture we've kind of implemented the fact that racism isn't cool. It's not something you want to do. If Billy is being a racist and saying you should go back to pick cotton or something like that, something stupid like that, people that at his school are gonna be like, I'm gonna stay away from Billy. Billy just not my type of dude. Billy's gonna have no friends and not be getting along with anyone. It's not like, hey, that guy's racist, we should all hang out with him, because most people are just like, yeah, no. So generally, people want to fit in things, and they want to be like their friends, and they want to have friends, so they're not going to be racist. Most people don't really care about your race. I'm just saying, that's the thing. These racists are a very small minority. They're not this huge, like, people everywhere, everyone's racist. That guy that you just met at the supermarket could be racist. He could be, but most likely he's not. Just most people are not these racists. Like, this lady sees racists everywhere. Like, it's kind of weird. If you looked at everything through her worldview, it seems like every white person's a racist. And anyways, then she also says, the fans who identify with the genocidal villain, looks at pure blood and Death Eater tattoos and Harry Potter fandom real hard, yeah, they're a problem. If you like really personally identify with these people, I don't know Harry Potter, but I'm just saying, if you personally identify with these people, then yeah, I say that's a little weird. But if someone's just like a big fan of Palpatine and they got a Palpatine tattoo, I don't think they're a problem. I don't think they're a racist. Palpatine and like Darth Vader and all of them were very much based off like the Nazis and Hitler. But if you're a fan of them, if you have a stormtrooper tattoo, I don't think that you're a Nazi and you're just some evil person. I'm like, you're the problem. No, like, those are cool characters. They're interesting. But if you're like personally like, yeah, Palpatine was right, like real, like not joking, because most people are joking, like, you know, Palpatine did nothing wrong. Like the same people who joke about Hitler did nothing wrong. You have some people that are serious about it, but most people when they say Hitler did nothing wrong are joking. So I'm saying, like, someone saying that doesn't mean that they're a problem. Like this lady, I feel like if she saw a Darth Vader cosplayer, what would she do? Would she freak out? Be like, oh my god. I just feel like she might have a breakdown. I don't know. But yeah, that's all the tweets that I got from her thread. You can read it. Again, I'll have a link to the description if you want to read it for yourself. She goes up some interesting stuff. She, in her banner says, write about stuff, feminism, fiction, nonfiction, you name it, I probably write it. Well, as you can see in this thread, she wrote about a lot of fiction, so not very interesting, though. I'd say she's not a very good fiction writer, so maybe she should try something else. But yeah, just moral of the story is racists aren't everywhere. Racists exist. They always will exist. It sucks that you'll never be able to get rid of them, but that's just a fact of life. Those always exist. But we've done a pretty good job in the West of eliminating it for the most part. There still are racists, but they're a very small minority, and they're not everywhere like this lady would have you believe. So, at the end of the day, comic book fans aren't racist. Comic book fans are the freaking rainbow. There are just so many comic book fans that are of just different ethnicities and sexual orientations and everything. That's what's cool. That's part of what's cool about comics, is there are so many different types of people that are into comics. and most of them aren't some racist, sexist bigot that wants you dead or goes around harassing you at a con. But anyways, those are my thoughts on this whole situation, on this thing of are comic book fans are racist. Please let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on this subject. Do you think comic book fans are racist? Have you seen groups of racist comic book fans going around at conventions harassing black cosplayers? I've never seen that, but if you have, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to continue the conversation, you can follow me on Twitter. That will be linked in the description down below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, I grew up with the prenup. Mama said keep my C up. Now noticing I'm getting caught cracker and getting beat up, but I stayed up long nights, working hard on my craft. Gave a fuck about the bullies or anyone in my past.